What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fall Damage Central podcast. I'm the mighty Bildo, and with me every single week, Old School Legend. What's up, Old School?
Yo, yo, yo.
Man, it is Friday. No, today is Friday. Actually, we're not releasing this on Friday. This is a late
Yeah.
episode. I forgot. So it's the weekend of December 15th through the 17th. I don't know exactly when this is going to come out, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Thank God, because last episode I think we were kind of scrounging a little bit.
Yeah, we were definitely struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're coming into the Christmas season, right? And I asked you a few weeks ago if you were a Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving guy or after Thanksgiving guy. But now I got a question about Christmas itself. What was your favorite Christmas gift of all time? Like from a kid to an adult, whatever.
So I got two. One, when I was a kid, I got a Super Nintendo one year.
Mm.
And at this point, the Super Nintendo had been out for quite some time. I had been wanting one for probably been out maybe like 3 years at this point. I've been wanting one pretty much like since its inception. So all 3 years that it's been out, I wanted one. But my family didn't have money like that. So I had an original Nintendo, and my parents were like, well, you already have a Nintendo. Why do you need a Super Nintendo? Because, parents just don't understand.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so one year, man, yeah, I got surprised with it, and it was incredible. I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I was in tears because I was so happy. And then when me and the wife first started dating, I think it might have been our third year together or second year, she got me a copy of DJ Hero on the PS3, but it's not just DJ Hero. She got me the DJ Hero Renegade Edition. So it came with this turntable, like, well, all the DJ Heroes came with turntables, but it came with a turntable inside this like turntable case. So it looks like this big professional actual like turntable case, and it
Oh.
had it had two CDs in it. One of them was an Eminem CD, and the other one was a Jay-Z CD, and it was just like random hits that, well, I shouldn't say random hits, but random songs that like we didn't hear about yet. And it was just these two CDs that were on there. So I was really excited about the CDs because I'm a big Jay-Z fan. Um,
Really?
yeah, yeah. So that was really dope because when we first started dating, we weren't as, I guess, fiscally responsible as
Uh-huh.
we are now.
Yeah.
Um, so that DJ Hero was expensive, man. I think it was probably about like 250 bucks around
Damn.
there. Yeah, and she got that bad boy for me. So
That is sick, man. I didn't know they had an edition like that. And I guess Renegade edition because Eminem and Jay-Z made the song Renegade, so that would make
yep,
sense there. That is sick. I didn't even know that existed. Do you still
yep,
have it?
yep, absolutely. That's one thing I'll never get rid of. And as we moved, she was like, "You haven't touched that thing in years," and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
It's coming with me everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Even I'll open it and I'll mess around with it once in a while, but that's one of those things that I'm just never going to get rid of because it just has like so much sentimental value to me.
That's awesome. That's gonna make her happy too.
I mean, maybe I think she could.
It's
She,
like, oh, I knocked
she,
it out of the park with that one.
yeah, yeah. I think she could go either way though. I think she already told me. She's like, listen, I'm okay if you get rid of it, but I don't want to get rid of it though because I think that's, to me, that's one of those things that's going to be years down the line. You're going to be like, man, remember Rock Band, the drum
Yeah.
set, all that other stuff? This is all stuff that you can't really find anywhere anymore. You
Yep.
check on eBay and it's actually pretty expensive. Once upon a time, you would go into a GameStop or your local game store and they were damn near giving the shit away
Mm-hmm.
because nobody wanted it.
Yeah.
But now we're getting into an era where people are like, man, I used to play Rock Band or Guitar Hero back in college. Let me try to pick that bad boy up again. And then you get somebody who fires up the PS3 or the Xbox 360 and, oh, I don't have a guitar to play this. Let me try to get one. And,
Yeah.
you know, eBay is your choice.
God. Yeah. I recently tried picking up Guitar Hero games 2 and 3 because those are the ones I played the most of. And I realized the Xbox Series X won't play it. I guess it's a
Ah,
licensing issue with the music, whatever, on it. But yeah, I was
mhm.
pretty pissed off when I realized that.
Yeah, it's lame. So, what about you, man? What are some of your Christmas memories?
My favorite gift I've ever received, I also have two. The first one being my Nintendo 64. Back
Mm.
in '96, it released, and my dad went and stood in line all night long for it. Pretty much, I don't know what store it was, but he tells me about it pretty frequently, so I don't forget. But he went and stood in line for it. He got Mario 64, which is my favorite game of all time from our top 10 video games list from a couple months ago. Um, and that's probably my favorite system of all time as well. And then my second one would be my PS2. I got that the same year it released. Same thing. Dad stood in line like all night long for it, and I remember playing Orphan, uh, something of sorcery. I forget what it's called. Um, and I played the crap out of that game. It's probably, from what I've seen online, it's not a very highly rated game, but I remember I got that the release day or Christmas morning when I opened my PS2. I got that with it, and I played the crap out of it for a few months. And I don't have it anymore. I don't know where it is, so I can't. Every time I go into a game store and I kind of look for it, I don't really want to buy it online. I don't really want it that badly, but every time I go in like game stores, I look for it to see if they have it for like $5-10 or something. I'm gonna pick it up again. But yeah, N64, PS2, baby.
So, let me ask you this: when you opened your N64, were you like that N64 kid? Nintendo 64.
I was pretty excited from what I remember, but I was not like that kid. I was just like, oh dang, okay. I was pretty stoked, but I was not doing backflips.
Anybody listening, if you haven't seen or know what we're talking about with the N64 kid, do yourself a favor, check it out on YouTube. Just type in N64 kid, and you'll see it pop up definitely. And it's, to be honest, man, it's probably not as funny as it is today. But back when we first saw that meme, maybe what 12, 13 years ago, oh, there it is.
There it is. Next to his sister. N64. That kid is stoked.
Yeah, I wonder if he still has that console to this day. I
Yeah,
hope he
right.
does.
I wonder if he's a collector.
Man, what if he is? What if this guy is like one of these YouTubers that has like one of these giant collections? Like a complete US N64 collection.
Dude, that would be pretty epic. I don't know. I would think that would come out though. He like there would be something in the comments that says, the comments are turned off on this one." I don't know. That's sick. Um, but we've had there was a big couple weeks with the Game Awards and everything this week. So I figure
Classic.
we'll go over. We made a bet. I don't know if you remember, but a few weeks ago we made a bet on what the best fighting game would be. You
Mhm.
said uh, Street Fighter 6. I said Mortal Kombat 1. Me not knowing anything about fighting games, I just figured it'd be the biggest, uh, best one. I don't know. But you won. You won that. It was Street Fighter 6 was the best fighting game.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Nice.
just to scroll through the list quickly here. There's Baldur's Gate best player voice. Baldur's Gate 3 won. Best adaptation, Last of Us. Okay, yeah, for the TV show Last of Us, not necessarily the game. Most anticipated game, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm not gonna name all these, all the like esports and stuff. I don't really care about.
Yeah.
Best multiplayer game, Baldur's Gate 3. I didn't even know Baldur's Gate 3 was a multiplayer game to begin with. Pikmin 4,
Yeah.
best strategy. Forza Motorsport, best racing. Best family game, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. That's a great game. And there it is, best fighting game, Street Fighter 6. Best RPG, Baldur's Gate 3. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, best action adventure game. Armored Core 6 best action game. Have you played Armored Core 6?
No, I'm actually not a big mech fan, but I do want to play that one because I'm a big, From Soft guy. So they made Armored Core. So
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be one I pick up when it hits like that $20 price point.
Yeah, I'll probably try that out too. Um Mobile games. Screw mobile games. Best ongoing game, Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes, sir. I
That's
was
your
very happy about that.
yeah.
So, little side note here: we're gonna have to redo our top 10 best games of all times, or favorite games, I
Oh,
should say, of all times, because Cyberpunk 2077 has crept up into not only the top 10, but I'd say the top five.
whoa, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, man.
I mean, you've played through it multiple times just in the last 6 months, I think. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and it's oh, man, it's insane, really, because I'm not tired of it. Um, it's literally the same story over and over, but every time I play it, I find something new. Like I find something more to add to the lore, and just man, really, really good. Um, I know I showed you that copy. I got like the regular physical copy on the Xbox.
uh-huh.
I have it on the PS4, and I did the upgrade. There's a free upgrade for the PS5, or if you have the Xbox One version, you get a free upgrade to the Series X version. So I had bought that physical copy, but then like right afterward, they came out with like that Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
So it's got the next gen versions of it, in addition to the Phantom Liberty DLC on it. And I gotta say, man, I ended up buying the Ultimate Edition as well. So, so I bought it digitally on the Xbox, and the reason I bought it digitally is because upstairs in my game room I could play it on the Series X. Downstairs in the living room I have my Series S, so I could play it on my Series S if I'm downstairs.
Yeah.
So I could just switch between back and forth and be okay with that.
That's pretty sick. So you bought the Ultimate Edition digitally.
Yeah, yeah, and they actually the Xbox store has it on sale right now. I think it's like $53.99. So normally I think it's like $60 or $70 or something. So I decided to just go ahead and jump on that.
That's not bad for all the content you're getting. And I never in a million years would think I would say that about Cyberpunk when it released in such a horrible state.
Yeah. And they actually did another update. So now the big update was 2.0.
Hmm.
They just did another big update, which is 2.1, and they added more features to it, which just it
Really?
just real yeah, it really adds to the depth of the game. So now you pretty much you have like a type of like iPod, MP3 player, whatever the hell. So the music that you listen to in your car, you can pretty much listen to anywhere now because you carry that
Oh,
like music thing on you. So it's pretty badass, man. That's pretty cool.
that makes
Um,
sense.
they added there's a metro system in the game. Like there's like a train you see like going by occasionally.
Hmm.
They set it up now to where you could actually ride that train. So you could use that as transportation to like one part of the city to the other.
Is it like fast travel?
Uh it could be fast travel, but if you get on there, like it's like a cinematic view. You kind of know like when you play like Grand Theft Auto, they
Yeah.
have like that cinematic view when you're driving and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what this is. You just pop in there and you're on that train. You can sit down. It's not, there's really not much going on. It's just pretty cool that they added that metro system in there. So instead of having to drive all the way across that town, if you find a metro station, you could just pop in there and hop in that train and just listen to some music and enjoy the sights of Night City.
Yeah. That's pretty sick. And there's a lot of sites in there too. I from playing it that I've seen that it's just a phenomenal like atmosphere that they created for that whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. Really good game, man.
Game of the year, Bowler's Gate 3 wins it.
Man.
Which is fine for me. I don't I'm not mad at it. I mean, I personally would have picked Tears of the Kingdom, but it is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. And on that list, the only one that I have played was Tears of the Kingdom. So for me, it was going to be Tears of the Kingdom. Um, with as many awards as Baldur's Gate 3 has won, I think I might actually end up checking it out
Yeah,
because
you
I've
should. I'd be curious what you think about it.
so I spoke to one of my buddies, and the biggest thing that turned me off about even like trying out Baldur's Gate is that whole like dice system they have, that like
Yeah.
dice mechanic they have in the game. I'm just kind of like, that that just doesn't appeal to me. But according to him, it's not annoying and it works really well, like with the function of the game. So I'm like,
Yeah,
all
I
right,
didn't I
maybe
didn't
I'll.
think it was annoying myself. And I'm new to the whole super RPG thing. And I said it before. My brain is too small for a game that's that size. But the dice rolling thing was not a big deal for me. I actually found it kind of fun in some parts of that I did play.
Yeah. So maybe 2024 holds a BG3 playthrough for me.
Yeah, yeah. I'd be curious your thoughts on it, your first impressions, your review, all that stuff. Um, so what we got next? I know we got on the game awards thing. Um, there's a couple games. I got a bunch of trailers pulled up here, but only like two or three kind of sparked my interest. But first of all, Visions of Mana. I know you're a big Mana series guy, right? Trials of Mana, Secret
Yep.
of Mana, all that stuff. What do you think about this trailer here?
So this was one of the ones that I got really excited about. Saw this, super excited. The art style I think is going to be gorgeous. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, just look at that, man. That looks really, really nice. Big fan of the Mana series, so I'm glad we got a new introduction into we got a new title coming out. Um, is this going to be a day one purchase? Probably not, but I'll definitely check it out at some point. But I am excited that they're getting the ball rolling back with the Mana series.
Yeah, I thought it looked phenomenal too, and I've complete noob when it comes to the Mana series. I never played any of them, but I thought it looked amazing. And as soon as I saw it, I thought of you instantly. I'm like, oh man, old school's probably gonna like that.
Yeah,
Um,
very pleased with this.
do you have one that you're like besides this one? Like, oh man, that looks interesting. I'd like to
Um,
see more of that.
there's a few, man. There was a few that popped out. So the first one that pops into my head is that Jurassic Park Survive.
Yep, yep.
So I don't know if anybody's ever played Alien Isolation. That game is creepy and scary as all hell, and it's great. It is such a good game. So from what it seems to me, based on the trailer, this is going to be similar to Alien Isolation, except you're in Jurassic Park and
Yep.
you got the T Rex chasing you. And I mean, I love the original Jurassic Park movie. One of my favorites,
Yeah.
probably my top five all time movies. Um, so very excited about this. I'm curious to see more. I want to see where they're going with it. I want to see if it really is going to be like that Alien Isolation type game, but with the dinosaurs. So hopefully we hear more coming up soon rather than later.
Was Alien Isolation? I've never played it. Well, was that like a survival type game? Like
Yep.
what does
Yeah.
survival game mean to you? Like, is that like scavenging for food and stuff, and trying to keep your health up with food and finding shelter during storms or whatever?
So not necessarily like with the food. I know there's some games that they have that mechanic in there. Um, you know, I realize, video games are for entertainment, but I still want it to act like a video game. I don't want to have to do like real life stuff. Like, hey, make sure you're eating like every like in-game hour or something like that. Like take medicine so you're not getting sick. I don't want to worry about that kind of stuff, but I do want it to kind of to be like that survival like type thing where I'm in the jungle, I'm in a building, like I got to sneak around, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know
To me, that's what survival is.
They got Mia Khalifa to play the main girl.
I saw that. I was like, oh, okay. I like it. I like it.
Don't Google that, kids. Uh, but yeah, that was one that I'm excited for too. I want to see, being a huge fan of the Jurassic Park movies and stuff. I'm very interested to see how that one goes.
So the other, and this is kind of cheating because it's not just one. So Sega is coming out with like their, I guess like their Sega classics, like
Hmm.
remastered classics or whatever. So they're coming out with Jet Set Radio, freaking love, Shinobi, Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, and Streets of Rage. I think these are all coming out sometime next year. I think between 2024 and 2025. And these look to be all just like remastered titles of these games. So modern graphics, frame rate, all that stuff. Super excited about that.
Yeah, like are these is this going to be released in like one compilation, or is it going to be single individual games like follow and you might have just said it and I completely missed it trying to pull this trailer up, but are they going to be sequels to the original games or just remasters?
No, they're going to be remasters. I
Oh.
don't know if they're going to release them one game at a time or if they're going to release a compilation. I would imagine they're probably going to start off with like releasing them one at a time and then eventually probably just come out with some type of compilation disc with all of them on there.
Hmm.
Because so from what I was reading is that there's going to be even more titles they're going to be working on. So these are just like the first few that they're doing right now that they're ready to show.
Yeah, it looks sick, man. Like, see that? Okay, so it does make sense. You said it was remastered. I was going to say that looks so good to be just like a port, but if they're remastered, then that's great. You think if Sega sees enough success with all bringing all these games back in the next 10 years, they might try another system?
Probably not. I think they're definitely out of the system game. But as far as like their old IPs from like the Genesis, the Master System, the Saturn, the Dreamcast, I think they have money right there, man. Release
Yeah.
like some remaster compilations and let's get it going. You know, if they came out with like some type of like Dreamcast, like and honestly, like for me personally, I don't even need it to be remastered, dude. I just need some type of like Dreamcast compilation. They
Yeah.
could fit those Dreamcast games were on CDs, man. Imagine how many of those you could fit on a dual layer Blu-ray now.
Oh yeah.
Give give me a compilation disc, man, with like 20 or 30 of them Dreamcast titles, dude. $70, take my money.
You wonder. You think this is why they never did a Dreamcast Mini like they did a Genesis Mini, because they're just planning on re-releasing all these games.
You know, I don't know. And I think that there might be a little bit more logistically that they can't do with as far as like a Dreamcast Mini goes. Emulation has come a very far a long way. So I know like the new Raspberry Pis that are out, like five, the emulation on them is freaking great. So I don't know if there's some type of like single board computer that they could make. They
Hmm.
could program a Dreamcast or something on there and release it like that because I'd be happy with that too. And
Yeah.
I think that was the hang up with Nintendo and the Nintendo 64. Because I read a while back, and I don't know how true any of this was, but Nintendo was looking to release a Nintendo 64 mini in addition to like a GameCube mini, but for like whatever was going on, they couldn't get like the right software emulation for the Nintendo 64. They just couldn't get it right. That's why it's never been released.
Uh, yeah. I love
And
the mini consoles.
yeah, for sure. So Nintendo 64 is notorious for being one of the harder ones to emulate just because of the polygons and the 3D graphics and stuff. So a lot of times, you know, there are emulators. If you have a high-end computer, man, you could run some good N64 pretty
Hmm.
clean and at a high frame rate. But as far as like the older Raspberry Pis and stuff, man, I mean, some of the games would run, but you're looking at like 10, 15 frames per second. So
Hey,
the game is pretty much unplayable.
gross. In an age where you're getting like 120 frames per second on the current gen consoles and stuff. Ugh,
Yeah,
10.
man.
Ugh.
So going back, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2,
Mm-hmm.
they finally they showed a little bit more of that. Super excited about that one. Um, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons remake. That's a really good game. So I'm happy to see that remake come through. I'll probably pick that up eventually at some point. Um, the biggest one for me was that God of War Ragnarok DLC. That
Yes.
dude, that came out of left field,
Yep.
and they announced it was free. It's currently
Oh
out
yeah.
right now. I haven't downloaded it yet, so I'm hoping this weekend to get my hands on it.
Yeah, I got to do that. I haven't downloaded it either, but apparently I've just heard little things about it, but it's like is it essentially like a horde mode almost?
It's a roguelike. So if you ever played Returnal, have you played
Okay.
Returnal?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's similar to that. So you play until you die, and then you start over. You get new power ups
Oh,
and everything, and then you just kind of keep going.
dude, that sounds sick.
Yeah.
I might have to
So
download that this weekend.
definitely excited to try that out. One of the other games that stood out that they showed, and this is going to be an Xbox exclusive, and that is Marvel's Blade.
Yep. Yep.
So I kind of got mixed feelings about this because the studio that's doing this is Arcane Leon,
Yep.
and they're the ones who made the Dishonored games, which I like. I think those games are really good. Um, they did the Prey remake. I haven't played that one yet, so I can't speak on it. Deathloop they did. Deathloop is very boring.
Yeah.
um, it's just super repetitive and just I didn't like Deathloop at all. And then they did Redfall also, and you heard all the horror stories about Redfall when it launched and everything, but
Yep.
their games have this very particular art style, and you as you can see here in the trailer that's pulled up, um, it's not quite cell shaded, not quite cartoony, but it's definitely a type of style,
Yeah.
and I think and the game is definitely going to be in that type of style. I just don't necessarily know if it's going to work for a Blade game.
Yeah. I'd love to see this game be some kind of uh action adventure game that you're just hacking and slashing vampires like crazy. Um,
Yeah,
but one thing that kind of pisses me off, a few people have talked about, is this was like their announcement trailer. Like this is in development, so we're probably not going to see this game until like late 2025, maybe 2026, if I had to
yeah,
guess. So this is one of
for
those.
sure.
Oh, we're going to announce this, and it's not going to come out for another 3, 4, 5 years.
hmm
That kind of pisses me
So
off.
the other thing I'm a little nervous about with this game is it's going to draw the comparisons to Spider-Man.
Hmm.
Oh, well, in Spider-Man you can do this, Spider-Man that, Spider-Man blah 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 blah. And there's a good possibility by the time this game comes out. Remember, I think it was last year or the year before at the Game Awards, they showed off Naughty Dog? Who does Spider-Man on the
Insomniac.
PS5? Is it Insomniac?
Yep.
Insomniac is making a Wolverine game.
Yep.
So if this game releases and that Wolverine game releases, I'm assuming that Wolverine game is going to be similar to it's going to be closer to the way Spider-Man plays than Blade is going to be played by like Spider-Man. So I don't want to see this game like just get tossed by the wayside because I'm a big Blade fan.
Hmm.
I'm a big Marvel fan, so I think this is kind of a big deal. So I really hope it gets like the respect that it should get, and I hope the game itself is actually really good.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope, and it, like with this game, and I know Insomniac's not doing this game, but with this game and Wolverine, I hope they take it's a different combat system than Spider-Man. They don't just implement the same system into Wolverine, and this is a
Yeah,
whole different. Doing Blade is a whole different company in Arcane, so I would think it'd be completely different. But I don't want to see that same repetitive combat like in the two Spider-Man games.
yeah. Have you ever played X-Men Origins, the Wolverine game?
I have it, and I if I did play it, it was so many years ago, I don't remember it.
So that game it plays kind of similar to the way Spider-Man does, like kind of like that button mashing and stuff.
Uh huh.
What was good about that though where there were different button combinations that you had to do in order to pull off some of the special moves. So I think like you would hold like on the Xbox, you would hold like the right trigger and hit Y, and he would do like some sort of spinning attack, or hold the right trigger and press X, and he would do some sort of spinning attack. Um, that combat was really fun. So I kind of hope that new Wolverine game that comes out maybe takes from that,
Hmm.
rather than the whole Spider-Man like, oh, okay, I got like a little icon above my head, let me go ahead and dodge, and
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Um, did you see anything on this Black Myth Wukong game?
I didn't really pay too much attention to it. So I gotta be honest, man. I kinda my focus on the game awards kinda kept going in and out.
Hmm.
And it was just, I don't know, it to me it didn't feel like a cohesive show. So it didn't have my full attention at all times. There was, to me, in my opinion, I thought there was a lot of stuff that got shown, and I didn't have any interest in it. I think it's cool that they had a lot of footage to show, but I think it kind of bloated the show a bit.
Hmm.
So a lot of the newer trailers, I kind of tuned out because I'm just like, man, can I get something that like I really really like?
Yeah,
So the award started off. The first thing they showed, man, was that God of War DLC.
yeah,
So it was boom, let's go, and then it was just like downhill from there.
yeah. Well, I bring this game up because, in my opinion, this looks so much like Elden Ring, like with the art style and like the bosses you're fighting here. I feel like this has Elden Ring and I guess Dark Souls written all over it. So I figured you might kind of like this type of thing.
Yeah, I think this is supposed to be a similar like Souls like game. So the Neo series,
Uh huh.
NIOH or Nio, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. That's kind of like a Souls like game too, and that's done by Ninja Theory. Um, so like their environments are pretty dark and stuff. But this kind of looks like man, what is that other one that they did? Sekiro.
Yeah.
Sekiro. You're like the samurai, and I actually couldn't really get into that one. I don't know what it was, but I normally love the FromSoft games. That one it just didn't do it for me. But
Hmm.
I promised one of my other friends that I was going to go back and play through it because he swears it's freaking an amazing game, and so I was like, all right, let me go ahead and check that out.
Yeah.
But there was another game that released last year, and it was called Wo Long Dynasty something.
Uh huh.
So that's another game similar to Neo or Nio, that's similar to the Souls type games. So I kind of feel like this game is similar to Wo Long. I could be wrong though, because I haven't played Wo Long. I've just seen the trailers and some gameplay footage from it, but they both look kind of similar to me.
Yeah. I know. I know the character you play as in this. I don't know his name or anything, but you're like some kind of monkey king, whatever. I know there's multiple games with him in it. So I don't think this is the first game that we're seeing of him. So that other Wo Long game, I've never even heard of it. But is that the same main character that's in this one, like the monkey guy running
Uh,
around?
I I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. Let me try to pull that up real quick. Let's see.
Wo Long. Okay. I don't even know how to spell it.
Just
Oh,
W
Wo Long,
O.
right here.
Yep, Wo Long, Fallen Destiny, Team Ninja.
It definitely looks similar in the art style and everything. Team Ninja, yeah. Oh no, you're not that monkey guy. You're some samurai jumping around, slaying beasts.
Yeah, so this looks like this is probably more in line with Sekiro than
Hmm.
that one we just looked at. But I'd like to check this out. I'm not trying to pay not trying to pay that much money for it, you know?
Yeah, no, I get it. Um, I had two more on my list that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. This Light No Fire from the makers of No Man's Sky. It's supposedly like an actual open world game. You're not flying planet to planet, but the planet you're on, you can go literally anywhere. There, it's like an entire planet that you can explore, and uh, I don't know exact. This is an announcement trailer, so I'm not exactly sure what the focus of the game is going to be. But they did say you can go anywhere, build anything. Looks from the trailer here, you're building houses, you're harvesting materials from the trees and stuff, flying around on big ass birds. It looks really cool, and I'm really interested to try it out, but I'm scared that it's going to end up like another No Man's Sky at release, where it's going to be a buggy mess, not going to work. Um, but after No Man's Sky, like it's in a great position now. It's a great game now. It's just
Mhm.
took a long road to get there. But I think this is
Yeah.
one of those games that you're going to jump into and just be there for days, just trying to explore the entire thing.
Yeah, so for me, this didn't really hit for me. I just kind of like I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's kind of cool. Um, but
You don't like
pretty much,
man-sized rabbits?
I a lot of the stuff they showed, man, it didn't hit like that for me. So
Yeah.
I'm not like right now, like I'm not really 2024. Like there's not much that I see coming out in the near
Hey,
future
don't
that I'm like,
don't
oh,
don't spoil our end of year show. Don't spoil it.
ah, ah, zip it,
We're-
zip it.
so the last thing is this extremely strange Kojima game that they showed off. That's just
Yeah,
people
man.
talking at the camera and screaming or something.
So this is OD, and I don't. It was weird. Like Kojima came out, right, and you know he's given his spiel, his translator's going through whatever, and then all of a sudden Jeff Keighley's like, oh wait, there's somebody else coming through the door. Who is it? And it's Jordan Peele.
Yeah,
And to me, in my opinion, I thought he looked super awkward. I think he was just kind of like, what am I doing here? Like what is this?
yeah.
So they started talking about the game a little bit. And so the game is OD. It's called OD. And I guess the best way to describe it, what they described is like a cross between a game and a movie. And
Hmm.
it's called surreal horror, not survival horror. So I'm my interest is peaked on this. I want to see what's going on, but I don't want to get too excited because it was the same thing like when PT got shown. I was like, "Oh man, PT, this game looks ridiculous." And
PT.
suppose
What was PT?
so it was supposedly the whole thing was this there was this demo called PT, and they called it like it was like acronym for like playable trailer, playable teaser, something like that. And this was supposed to be the intro to Silent Hills, and Norman Reedus was actually the character in that game. So PT, you go through this house. There's like a ghost behind you. It's super creepy, super scary, awesome as all hell. And then Kojima left Konami. They had their fallout or whatever, and then it just got pulled from everywhere, man.
Huh.
Couldn't download it anymore, whatever. So now, like, you could go on eBay and people sell PS4s with the game still on the hard drive that you could play. But that was one of those games, man, that a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is Silent Hills is gonna be dope. This is PT is so freaking awesome."
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah, and poof. So until this game gets a release date, I'm not going to get my hopes up too high.
Yeah. Apparently, Kojima's helping develop the Death Stranding TV show as well.
Mm.
So I'm interested to see that. I know, like Death Stranding wasn't like a blockbuster game for me, but it was like I enjoyed the story as weird as it was, and the gameplay wasn't that bad. I know I see a lot of people saying it was like a walking simulator, which in some ways it was, but you still picked up guns here and there and fought enemies and everything, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm interested to see what the show's about.
Yeah, same here. I really like Death Stranding, so I hope that that show picks up and does the game some justice.
Um, you had some beef with the Game Awards. What didn't you like about it? What segments didn't you like?
Yeah, man. So I felt it was very bloated. They had a lot of I didn't care for the performances, right? So we had the one performance for Senua Saga Hellblade 2, and I thought the presentation of the group that was doing the song was awesome, but I I kind of find it weird when people perform songs that you're not familiar with. So like I don't know, I just feel like you can't get into like the music. Like you could hear like the beats and stuff and it's like, "Oh, okay." But like you've never heard of this before. So like why am I paying attention to this?
Yeah,
So I felt that performance was a little long, you know, and then that went into like the new preview for that. Then they had the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I guess the title music or whatever it was,
yeah,
showed off gameplay from that. I'm like, oh, okay. And then this kind of took me out of it, like out of all of it. It was like this Alan Wake 2,
yeah,
like theatrical performance or whatever. And I'm just like, is this really necessary to have all
yeah.
this shit? Um, I was just like I was really bothered because people were up there getting their awards and they're like, I'd like to thank, and then all of a sudden the music starts playing for them to like wrap it up. And in my opinion, I think that's really disrespectful because, you know, these game awards, these are still the new kids on block. You know, it I don't think it's ever going to get onto the level of like the Oscars, or the Emmys, or like whatever. But, you know, there's a lot of developers here that, you know, they pour, I don't want to say blood, but they're pouring their sweat and their tears into it. That's a lot of hard work. And this should be good recognition from them. And hey, man, you know, I really appreciate you guys. I worked uh, okay, well, thanks, I guess. See ya. I think that's really shitty. So get rid of those performances, man. Let people speak a little bit more. Some of the guests that they had, like I said earlier, Jordan Peele, when he came out, he just kind of seemed a little confused,
Out of place.
like
Yep.
didn't quite know like what to do. Matthew McConaughey came out. Uh,
Yeah, that was
same
weird.
same same thing. He called it the video game award. Um, like he left off the S, so it's
Yeah,
like they just paid him money. Hey man, we're gonna give you like 50 grand to show up. You know, talk on the mic a little bit, and that's it. You know, he introduced a game that he's gonna be in. I can't even remember because it just didn't look interesting to me.
yeah,
So I totally forgot about it. And then they had Gonzo from the Muppets.
yeah.
He having like this little like back and forth with Jeff Keighley, and I'm just like, bro, like what? I mean, like, do you have fucking toddlers watching this show right now? Is that what is that the demographic you're trying to get?
Well,
Um,
that's what's funny is they'll have Gonzo for like kids and stuff, and maybe it's supposed to be nostalgic for people our age that watch Sesame Street or whatever, or whatever the hell show he's from. But then they have these high, like classical, high class musical performances and stuff, and it's like, what are you trying to do here? I take from it as I feel like they're trying to be like the Oscars or the Grammys or something, and I feel like not just this, but with games in general, we're moving away from the risky, the taking a chance on a new game type thing to a more um, corporate, I guess, um, play it safe type industry. Um,
oh yeah, it is definitely getting super commercialized.
yeah,
Definitely.
yes, that's what I saw out of the Game Awards. It's like it's not meant for just the gamer or whatever. Like people, I feel like when you turn on the Game Awards and you see people standing there in 3-piece suits and dresses and all this stuff, it's like, come on, I don't care. Just show me trailers and tell me who wins Game of the Year. They could get rid of half of those awards that they gave out. I don't care about them, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's just too much.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like gaming is super mainstream now, and they're forcing it to be mainstream with the esports and all the other stuff. And you know, that's cool, man. If you're into that, hey, kudos
Yeah,
to you. I can't stand that shit, man. I miss the game awards when they first started. It was like real like kind of like gritty and like underground, and it seemed fun.
yeah,
And now just seems like bloated and phony. You know what I mean? Like, hey, come on, sponsors, like sponsor this show so I could do this and that. And
yeah,
me personally, I feel like the video game awards has lost its identity. Whether it gets back to its roots and goes back to that, I don't know if that's going to happen. But I got to be completely honest, man. Next year, I I I probably am not going to watch it just because I had such a bad time watching it this year. And the year before, I was kind of getting that, you know, I was like, I don't really know if I'm feeling this anymore because it just seems like it's becoming super like commercialized and just you know, like very corporate heavy, very sponsorship heavy, and just yeah, you know, I just want like a little underground type, a little, you know, gaming award show. Hey, this is cool that you could talk to your buddies about and not have it be on every single like media stream, media outlet talks about it or whatever. I don't like that. So,
yeah.
but again, that's just my opinion. You know, the people that liked it, you know, I'm glad you liked it. You know, I hope you don't take offense to me not liking it, but that's just how I feel about it. You know, you got to remember, man, I'm old school.
Old school
So
legend, baby.
when the new stuff comes out, like I'm open to it, but then when I kind of see it like not be how it used to be, that's when I start backing up and I'm like, yeah, you know,
Yeah. You know,
I could not do with this.
we get big enough here on YouTube, maybe we'll start our own game awards, our yearly game award show, and just keep it
Yeah.
to the basics, to the necessities, and show them how it's done or how it should
Hmm.
be done. At least we could try.
Yeah. It'd be worth a shot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and with that, E3 announced that they're actually done with their show every year.
Yeah. Yeah. That is oh
I know it's
man.
they haven't done it in a few years because of COVID and stuff, but yeah, everybody kind of speculated on it, and they officially came out this week and said, "Yep, we're done."
E3 was the one event that I used to look forward to every year. And
Yeah,
like it was always a big deal to me. And what on my bucket list was to go to an E3. Man, I'm getting out to
yeah,
LA, wherever it was. I want to be part of that. And I don't know, like it used to be so good, you know. And again, it was kind of like that whole like underground thing, man. You saw a lot of really good stuff. I remember plain as day, man. The PS2 announcements, the PS3 announcements, the Xbox 360, the PS4, the Xbox One.
yeah,
Man, it such a good time, you know. And I know COVID hit, and you know everything had to go like virtual and all that other stuff. But I think even now, like they canceled it because it's just there's no way to have it the same as it used to be, which is just it's heartbreaking, man. Because like you know, I've been seeing a lot of clips on Twitter of you know, hey E3, you know, 99, this happened, or you know, my favorite E3 moment was back in like 2008. So we're not going to get that anymore, and that's to me that's sad.
yeah. It sucks. Like with the age of with like the state of the internet and YouTube and everything now, all these big developers just want to do their own shows. Like, why pay E3 a couple $1 million for the main stage for 20, 30 minutes when you just do it yourself for free?
Yeah.
I was thinking though this week, and I don't know why I can't remember this. How did we used to watch E3 back in the day? Because I know YouTube wasn't really a thing in the early 2000s. Um, I remember the channel G4 on cable. Is that how you used to watch it? Was that the only way to watch it?
Yeah, so G4 was streaming it. That was like the one channel that showed it. So once they started showing that, that became televised, and it was like, oh man, this is freaking badass. But
Yeah,
for me, anytime before that, you heard about E3, but then like you had to wait for like the magazines to come out, and you read about that.
yeah.
So you're like, oh
Dang.
man, like this elect because it was the reason it's called E3 is because it's like the Electronics Entertainment Expo, I think is what it's called. That's why they
Hmm.
call it E3. So nobody was calling it E3 back then though. They were calling it the Electronics whatever Expo. So you always waited for like the new Game Pro or the EGM magazine to come out, and then you could see like all the new stuff that they were showing off and they announced. So
Dude,
G4.
that's a
Go
video
ahead.
we should do. That's a video we should do. I should go through my Game Pros I got over there and see if there was any special like E3 coverage in one, and just go through that and look at it for nostalgia's sake.
One of I totally forgot about this box, man, but going through all my stuff, I finally unpacked everything in my room and got everything where it needs to be. I've got a banker's box full of strategy guides and
Mm.
just other books that, other gaming books that I don't think they sell strategy guides like that anymore. So I think I'm going to do a video eventually just kind of showing everything off because I got the stand for my phone, so I could just record like the pages and stuff like that.
You know, I was shocked a couple months ago. I was walking around, I think it was FYE in the mall over here, and I found a strategy guide for Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, nice.
So I picked it up quick with the quickness, um, just simply to have it. I already beat the game at the time, but I just
Yeah,
couldn't remember the last time I actually saw a strategy guide. So I was like, yeah, give me that.
yeah. There was a point, man, where I had probably over 100 strategy guides, and at the time when I was moving, you know, young guy over here, it was nothing to fill up boxes with the magazines and the strategy guides. Like these boxes would be like 400 pounds,
Yeah.
but I was moving them around, and then it just got to a point where I was like, man, I need to get rid of a lot of them because I just can't keep carrying them around. And there was a few that I got rid of that I wish I wouldn't have because at the time I was just like, whatever. Um, the one of the main ones I can remember was I had the original Dino Crisis strategy guide,
Hmm.
and that's one of the ones that I kind of tossed to the wayside.
Oof. That'd be a good one to have nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
Man. So what
But yeah, man.
else? What?
Speaking of nowadays, man, we got another some other sad stuff, man. So WWE
Mm.
no longer making DVDs and Blu-rays beginning in 2024.
Nah! We're losing the
So
battle, old school.
I've got a I got a decent collection of WWE wrestling DVDs, and man, this makes me sad because what's going to end up happening now is the stuff that they have is going to skyrocket.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So anybody listening, man, you're interested in that stuff, get it before it's too late. Um, so luckily, anybody who has a VHS or VCR and is into VHS, the wrestling VHS tapes on eBay, that market is still relatively cheap. There are some pretty expensive ones, but for the most part, I mean, you're looking at paying like $10, maybe like $8, $10. I think the most I saw was like $69 for one. I can't remember what event it was, but a lot of tapes in the $8 range, $10 range, $15 range, $20 range. So I would hope that the DVD market, the DVD black market now like stays like that. Um, but I would imagine people are going to jump on that super quick. I'm fortunate enough to have a few factory sealed. I've got
Ooh.
I think it's like WrestleMania like 24 or whatever. I
Nice.
can't remember which one it is, but it's factory sealed, and that bad boy is staying factory sealed.
Yeah, every time I go to a thrift store, or there's a McKay's in North Carolina. It's like a used book, game, and movie store and stuff. Um, I'm gonna specifically look for all those old WWE, WWF DVDs, VHS, all that stuff. Um, I'm gonna pick them up, start building a library on that. I think, because I don't know, it's so funny how like a collector's mind works. Is because for the last 20 plus years, I didn't care. I didn't collect, whether I was a fan or not. I didn't collect any VHSs or WWE DVDs or anything. I have a couple, but they were given to me as gifts and stuff. But now that I hear that they're not making them anymore, no new ones are going to come out. I feel like, damn, I got to go get these things. I got to get them now.
Yeah, it's wild. And the 360 the Xbox 360 digital store is closing what in
Mm-hmm.
April, I think. So that there, man, collecting 360 games, those are going to go up in price for sure.
God, man. It sucks, dude. It sucks getting older because things change and you don't want them to change. You just want them to stay the same forever.
Yeah. Yep, I hear that, man.
Oh, you got anything else? Anything else on your docket you want to talk about?
No, that's it. Oh yeah, the crew
Ah, that's
talking
right.
about the all digital future, man. So the crew, it's an online racing game from Ubisoft. It's been delisted from all digital storefronts. So Ubisoft came out and said, "Hey, the servers are we're gonna keep them online till March 31st of 2024, and then after that, the game is going to be no longer accessible." So it's not even a deal where you could play the game offline or anything. 'Cause, I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
is an online racing game. But yeah, that's it, man. So any money you poured into that is just
Garbage.
gone.
Might as well just set it on fire, hold a lighter to it, and let it blow in the wind. So
So
if you paid 60, 70, whatever dollars for this game, it doesn't matter. It's not yours. You can't buy it anymore. Or you can't play it anymore. Sorry guys, sucks for you.
I was having a conversation with a couple of buddies on the group chat, and one of my buddies mentioned I did not know this. So the disc based games today don't even have the actual game on there. What the disc does, it's an unlock, it's essentially an unlock key. Everything is technically digital. So, and I don't know how true this is. So, if that's bullshit, that's not me saying. I'm just telling you what my buddy was saying. Um, so pretty much like if they wanted to get, hey, we don't want you guys being able to play Spider-Man anymore, right? They could just shut that game down. And even though you have the disc, you're not going to be able to access it anymore.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is pretty much it doesn't matter at this point if you collect physical or you collect digital, because it's essentially the same thing at this point. Um, Again, don't know how true that is, but if it is, that really fucking sucks, man.
You know,
So
I've
that
heard the
means that
same thing.
probably like the last true, I guess, quote unquote physical system would be the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yeah. I for that, like, I've heard the same thing, that even when you buy a disc, you're just buying a license for the game. You're not The game's not on the disc. Um that's why this new generation of games, the PS5 Series X, I don't really have a want or need to collect for those systems, because I have that thought in the back of my mind, like, am I even going to be able to play it if they shut it down or something? Um, so that's why I think I just stick with the older, like, PS4, Xbox One, even the PS3 and Xbox 360. All those games, all the PS3 and Xbox 360 at least, are all on the disc. So if
Yeah,
you want to buy physical, buy those.
yeah, for sure. And especially with the 360, man, with that storefront closing up, man, those game prices are going to skyrocket. The
Mm-hmm.
same thing happened with the PS3. Hey, we're closing down the storefront. As soon as that happened, man, all them PS3 games just went. skyrocketed.
Damn, that's crazy. And I hate to say this, but I hope there's like a retro game crash in the future or something. So like the real collectors that want this stuff can go out and get it for a cheap price and not have to deal with the scalpers that are just buying it up to raise the price and sell it for extreme profit, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think at this point, man, that's just a pipe dream because we've been talking about a retro game crash for probably the past 5 years now,
Yeah.
and it it's not getting any better at all. And like the whole grading thing now, it's getting ridiculous. I think you showed me that. Was it you that showed me the photo of somebody who got the copy of Super
Yeah.
Mario Wonder graded?
Yep.
Like, come on, man! Like,
It's
yeah,
insane.
it's getting ridiculous, man. But that's kind of what happens, man. You get into a hobby, and then other people are like, "Oh, wait a minute, I can make money off that hobby. Let me go ahead and do that." And then for the people that truly do like to collect for their enjoyment and for their collection and stuff like that, you know, that gets ruined for us because somebody decided, "Hey, I could go ahead and make money off of this," and then another person decided that, and then yeah, it sucks, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But what can you do?
You can't do anything. You just gotta grab the. I was gonna say grab the bull by the horns, but I don't think that works here. You just gotta ride the train till it hits a dead end somewhere. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Or just stick with the old school stuff, man.
Yeah.
Original Nintendo, Super
Yep.
Nintendo, Nintendo
It,
64.
and that's what's crazy
Get
is if we stick together and just don't buy the new stuff until they give us what we want, then they'll have to give us what we want. But with the new generations coming up, people like you and me are, you know, getting less and less every generation that goes by. So at some point, we're not going to exist anymore, and just going to be a new generation that's just used to all digital stuff, and they're not going to care.
Yeah. So we got the end of the year show coming up, and I think we're going to be discussing some goals for 2024, some collecting goals. So I think it'll be interesting to hear your take on some of that stuff as well as my take. And I hear we're going to have a special guest as well
Yeah,
on the end of the year show.
the
He's getting
one.
a get out of hell pass.
Yeah, yeah. He's getting out of hell for the next episode. He's getting his soul back for one night only to record the end of
Yeah.
year episode.
Well,
But right,
hopefully before he goes back, man, he can get himself a bit of a Christmas ham dinner, and because I hear the food down there sucks.
yeah, just gruel. Yes, but in case anybody's wondering, Rhino will be joining us on the end of year episode. He was on the Halloween episode. He was on one or two other episodes before that. So it's going to be a good time. Me, old school Rhino, are going to recap all the games that we liked over the year of 2023. Maybe some disappointing games or just disappointments in general that came out of 2023. Some things to look forward to in 2024, what our plans are in 2024. And I'm looking forward to it. Old school, appreciate you hanging out with me again. And also, before I forget, uh, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. We're on there. Go like, subscribe, rate us, whatever it is over there that you want to do. Like, subscribe here on YouTube. And old school, appreciate you. And we'll see you next week or whenever the next end of year show comes out. Probably not next week, but the week after Christmas. So thanks everybody tuning in. We'll see you next week. See ya.
Peace.